Well, good morning. Fuck. I has a workbench with a light, and I have made some changes to the windows on my Wild West buildings, and I'm pretty sure I'm now at the point where I can cut everything. But we need to check first. So I has made the windows. I think I chucked out the other model. Let me go have a look. I found it. This has, it's a fairly considerable difference in size. Now this is the small window, and there's 4 different sizes of windows. So whilst this one might be relatively small, across all the different sorts of, I've made lots of different variations, and we're going to sit down in a minute and get them all ready to laser cut, because that hasn't been done yet. So whilst this might be small, there's probably going to be others that are going to be just fine. I wonder if I can balance my phone here. I don't use a fancy camera. I like my phone because then I can film wherever I am. I was chatting with Trent the other day about maybe I should get one of my good cameras out. It's like, nah, just stick with the phone. So, we need the other model. I've got, okay, back to the bin. Huzzah! Alright, so first things first. I got rid of the stupid ladder. And I made it this ladder because I wanted a good solid connection point here. But it looks stupid. So instead I added a little flare out on the bottom here to give me some more surface area for gluing. Again, none of this tabs in, they're all modular pieces. So you can glue them wherever you want. And that's much, much better. I think that is much, much better. Now, the door height should accommodate figures on a 3mm base, on a Games Workshop base, which I think is 3.2mm or something like that. I don't remember, it's been years since we measured one. And so that should be fine. And I think the window should also be fine. Again, keeping in mind that this is the small window. And again, you can sort of, you can see the difference. That window was ridiculously large. I can't be running the laser at 10 to 6 in the morning. Oh, one other thing. Artwork. Oh God, damage to my arm. I cleaned up the workbench. I put a set of shelves here, and they're sort of sitting over the spin casting stuff. God, both of these things here that are behind here is the Herge-Querler. What's it called? A vulcanizer. We don't need to see it. Anyway, we've got access to the cupboards. Frankly, they're just a mess. There's nothing terribly exciting in these cupboards. All of my miniatures and games and stuff were stored on shelves along that wall there. And they've all been packed up, and those shelves were smashed and thrown away. More artwork. I want to get rid of these stupid bits of foam, which I put there because the wall was blank and I was doing a lot of streaming over on Crouch After Dark, and I was like, oh, I want to have some sound baffling on the wall. It doesn't do anything. Take all of that down. The Ninja Charlotterie wants a section of this wall for her posters, so there's going to be some Billie Eilish on there, there's going to be some Taylor Swift. I want to put along here a board, a couple of shelves, somewhere to put paints, some drawers down here, because I'm going to be in this space for still a couple more months. building permits and all that stuff for the new shed are going to take months. All that sort of stuff. So I might as well make this place comfortable. And that includes, at some stage, I want to put a nice black curtain along here. It'll help close the space in a little bit. Get rid of the International Space Station wall. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. We've got things to do. I might have a look through the comments. Now, if you're interested in joining me for some of this type of stuff, we did a stream a couple of mornings ago on Twitch. If you want to join me there, twitch.tv/Knights of Dice. I'd love to see you there. I don't know how many of these streams will do, but how frequent they would be, or any specific timing or anything like that. These are all the parts now, so I've modified the windows. This was the window we were looking at. So we've got a slightly larger one, and then one that's probably more suitable for shop fronts and that sort of stuff, and then something like a little sliver that you might find in an outhouse or, along down the back of a shed. They're all double height windows. So these are all the facade pieces, all the walls, I suppose. Yeah, they're the walls. Then we have the facade toppers, the different types of roofs, and all of these components allow us to put together, a variety of different buildings with, verticality if we want. The floors will stack on top of each other. We have all these cool little outhouses and laneway blockers. And anyway, Graham Lewis says, nice to see some World of Twilight models in your paint queue. Man, World of Twilight is amazing. I've been a big fan for many, many years and had the pleasure of dining with Michael in the UK. I've been a big supporter of his game. I think we'll just take all of the walls. Doesn't really matter, right? Okay, so there's, like I mentioned in the live stream the other day, there's probably way better tools available on the market now, but I'm just so familiar with SketchUp. Douglas Wagner says, amazing posters, get some sleep. Look, I'm okay. Everything is okay. I'm quite used to very long hours, having ran my own businesses for such a long time that you don't really get a chance to switch off. Paul Halfork says, nobody that hasn't worked night shifts will understand having a beer after work means it's okay to drink at 6 a.m. You know what I might do? It might make more sense to curate the videos. Not curate, collate the questions. Because otherwise we're just going to, I don't know, I'll try and cut this and see how we go. Tony Pridham says, mate, I don't know how you're doing 12-hour shifts and still doing all this stuff. It'd kill me. I don't know myself. I just want to do it, so I do it. And my wife has put up with so much. Kim has been absolutely wonderful and supportive of everything I've done, but she is fed up of crap all over the house. She does want me to enjoy my hobby again as a hobby. She desperately doesn't want any more businesses involved in our life. But, she, her support has been invaluable. And I can totally understand. The house is an absolute mess. So I guess that's one thing that's driving me to, A, get back into things, but B, make some changes is, she's put up with enough. It's time for me to get all of this crap sorted out. Friday is going to be a wonderful day. I'm chucking out heaps of stuff. Just chatting again with my friend Ed, who's now moved up north back to Queensland. Very good friend of mine. I spent a lot of time hanging out at the Knights of Dice studio when he used to work around the corner. He'd come there for lunch and... Anyway, I don't remember what I was saying. Something about Ed. I need some zip ties and more beer. Sounds like a line from an abduction movie. JC Poolzols has commented on one of the previous videos. It kind of feels a little bit almost like I'm reading the live chat. What else have we got down here? The Suburban Scumbag says nothing quite like a chill beer after a shift, no matter the hour. Sick painting cupboard as well, by the way. That idea with the jars and the lids screwed to the shelf is genius. It's not my idea. You know, my dad, when I was younger, in his workshop had jars and with screws and nails and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure everybody, well, maybe they don't. You know, it was a very typical thing. Oh, do you know who else popped up recently or yesterday? I can't believe it's only been a couple of days. It really has only been a couple of days. Yeah, it feels like a long time. Bill, Terrainaholic. Oh boy, another OG. I haven't chatted with Bill for a long time. It was really nice to have a bit of a chat with him. He popped up a video. Like he says in that video, me and Bill go way back. You know, way back in the day, we used to have these crazy build-off challenges and stuff. And, you know, back in the old days of old YouTube, where channels like Bill's, I don't know how things have gone since then, but, you know, I'm looking at his stats. He's got 12.9k subscribers, 13,000 subscribers. Rubbish and Rubbish Out at its peak got up to almost 20,000. Bill was a long way ahead of me. Maybe a whole bunch of people have unsubscribed or YouTube's done something. And, you know, we were big channels back then. And and now, like, 20,000 subscribers doesn't really sound a lot when you look at the big channels that are popular today. City on a Hill Terrain. I have to comment on one of the videos saying, man, I'd love a breakdown vid of your professional journey and how it intersected with your passion projects. How were you able to spend so much money on this stuff and now work in completely unrelated career? That's a really interesting question. And I think one that deserves its own video. I responded to his comment. So far, I've just been dropping a little heart on everyone's comment just to let you know that I have seen it and I have read it. A lot of that is happening while I'm at work, so I can't exactly respond to everyone's comments. Come and join me in the live streams. Jump onto twitch.tv/Knights of Dice, and, you know, we can talk about some of this stuff in a more freeform capacity. Or capacity? Freeform environment? It's a very interesting question, and I did respond. There's been a lot of new people after starting these vlogs, and tonight at work I was thinking a recap video of Who Am I might be in order. Douglas Wagner says it would be super cool to see some how-to videos on spin casting. Definitely. Paul Halfork says the only casting he ever did was when he worked at Citadel Miniatures back in 1987. Wow, that would have been a time, man. Back in the beginning. CR Singer says, bro, welcome back. I hope it's not just a visit. Well, I don't think it's going to be just a visit. But like I said I hesitate to say episode 1 of the vlogs, that I'm not back. I'm just here. Always enjoyed your content, and it would be awesome to see you back regularly. Well, like I said, I don't have any intentions of making this a daily vlog. I am excited to produce more, and hopefully we can keep things moving along. I've got so many possibilities and projects and opportunities. Like I said, I'm so incredibly fortunate to be where I am in a job that I really enjoy and sitting on a huge pile of possibilities. And so, yes, I also hope that I'm going to be here more regularly and we can enjoy some cool some cool things together. Beard Clipper says, "Ah, man, one of the OGs. So pleased to see you back." I'm not back. I am just here. I'm in the middle of a major hobby slump as well. Not done anything for months now. Maybe this will be the thing that kicks me back into gear again. Take it easy, bro. Beard Clipper. Another OG. Thank you for popping on my videos, mate. I appreciate you, buddy. I've really enjoyed your channel. And I'm sure at some stage, as you know, this has been a hobby of mine for a long time. And like many people, you know, we go through periods where, you know, it doesn't... What the frick? Oh yeah, that's a different size window. Haha, amazing. We go through periods of life where the hobby has nothing. There's no hobby. And then we get back into it, and then we drop out, and then we get back into it, and we drop out. So hopefully, at some stage, you will find that bit that gets you back into it. RJade_24 says, Viv, making terrain? Back where we started, and I love it. Yeah, me too, man. I love it too. I also love how real this feels. As someone who has a garage filled with mess and hobby spaces being destroyed by general storage, I feel your pain. But this is what the hobby is like. Where did you get the Western minis from? I don't remember. I do not remember. Literally Books commented a couple of days ago. All right. I saw a lot of myself in here. Love the channel. Watched years ago, and this was always a favorite. So good to see you back. I might be fired up a bit myself. That's so good to hear. Well, you know, this is the wonderful thing about community. This is the wonderful thing about hobbies. This is the wonderful thing about shared passions. You know, my friend Trent has fired me up. That's why I'm here. And then Bill, Terrainaholic, jumped on his channel. I noticed that he hadn't posted in a couple of years. And he got fired up, made a little video. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, you know, he comes back and, you know, posts old school type content with old school builds. YouTube has changed a lot, and the type of content that gets produced, the type of techniques that people use have changed a lot. I think a lot of us got lost in the high production values and, you know, the schmick type of videos that started appearing specifically, and I blame Beasts of War for this. After Beasts of War appeared on the scene with these high production qualities, and everyone was just like, what is this? It's like this is like a TV show. You know, at that stage, when was this? 2008 or whenever? I don't, maybe 2010 or something. It was just, you know, hobbyists with cameras making content, making videos and just sharing our hobby and our passion. And then along comes Beasts of War with stages and sets and microphones and lights, and it just changed the whole landscape of hobby content on YouTube. And now it's at the point where it's just, you know, it is entertainment. It's crazy. That, ladies and gentlemen, is our first wall option completely done. All the window frames finished. I want to do some more streaming. We can watch some content together. We can design some stuff together. Maybe you guys can help me. Maybe we can make it collaborative. Work on my game Mirrors of Toulon. Anyway, I've rabbled on enough. I'm going to do the rest of the wall options here. The small wall, the medium wall, and the big wall. Those three walls, in combination with a whole bunch of different sorts of roof options, allows you to build your town. I do need to make a fourth wall option, but we can look at that later. That's it. Let's go to a chatting screen. Normally there'd be some chat there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And when we come back, there may not be a video tomorrow. We'll see. How much can I get done in the next couple of days to get at least a couple of buildings cut, assembled, painted to take along this coming Sunday for a game of Legends of the Old West with some very old and dear friends of mine. I will catch everyone soon. Bye.